This is the first in a series of brief talks dealing with the most important issue in our lives: survival. Our own personal survival and survival of life on this planet as we know it. But before we get started, we should appreciate that humanity has never had it so good, at least a large part of humanity. In many countries all over the world, the average person enjoys a level of luxury, comfort and convenience undreamed of even by kings not so long ago. And yet we now find ourselves living in the midst of one of the most crucial moments in history, with challenges to our well-being, to our very existence, that have never been so daunting. We are all aware of these challenges: the serious environmental and demographic problems, and a depraved form of religious fundamentalism that keeps growing more menacing all the time, to mention just a few of the issues. And when observing the growing hostility by over half the nations in the world towards one of the smallest and oldest nations, that's Israel, together with the enormous amount of rocketry aimed at it, even a cautious skeptic might be able to see a possible correlation with biblical prophecy that talks about doomsday. Now, personally, I would very much want to avoid the advent of a doomsday situation, whether seen as biblical prophecy coming true or as a logical consequence of unfolding events and developments. Doomsday, or whatever you want to call it, suggests unprecedentedly terrible, widespread devastation. And surely nobody really wants this for themselves or for their children or grandchildren. In order to avoid a doomsday situation, in ordinary pragmatic terms, it would mean working for a more just world order, promoting decent education everywhere, providing enough food and water for everyone, and doing whatever is necessary in order to protect the environment and contain pollution, and of course thwart the demonic ambitions of nasty tyrants and dangerous bigots. And yes, there are serious efforts being made all the time to deal with these issues, but there are many, let's call them conflicting interests and complexities, slowing down or even blocking these efforts. So how are we going to deal with these conflicting interests and complexities, in addition to the serious threats and challenges? Because if we don't, we're all going to be in very serious trouble. Well, I can tell you that the answer is actually very simple. Think about it. What is behind almost every kind of misery that is caused by people? What is behind almost every crisis, calamity, or catastrophe brought on as the result of human activities? Let's make a short list. There's incompetent or corrupt governance and leadership. There's unscrupulous greed and the unbridled quest for power, often all intermingling with each other. And there's also racial or religious bigotry. And what all these nasty conditions have in common with each other is the use of falsehood in some way or another. And whenever this is the case, we can be sure to find a lot of injustice, grim standards of living, unscrupulous exploitation of people and of resources, an absence of real democracy, and let's not forget crime and war. Half-truths and lies are often used by inept leaders to wheedle their way into office and later to cover up their blunders, while scoundrels and tyrants use falsehood on a much larger scale to gain and keep power and thereby wreak havoc and cause inestimable misery. And allowing falsehood to prevail has always been the gullibility, indifference, or fear of ordinary people everywhere. So to get back to our question, how do we prevent and resolve problems? How do we prevent man-made calamities, including conflict? How will we avoid a doomsday situation? Well, if it is usually falsehood, that enables the wrongdoing and evil to be done, then the logical answer is, that's right, it's honesty. That's all. Plain, simple honesty. Or more specifically, truthfulness. Come to think of it, truthfulness is humanity's most important and precious value. Indeed, it is this value that will enable our survival as a species. Thank you for listening. You can find out more on the subject in my book, How to Avoid Armageddon, which is available through Amazon or from the publisher Old Line Publishing, or you can ask at bookstores. And please look out for the next videos on this vital subject. Thank you.